It's Thursday, August 6th, 2015. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight on the lounge, we have the GeekNights Lightning Round. I should put some Creative Commons lightning sounds there.
Let's do this.
So, I was sitting at work, and I was doing a bunch of work. Like, I was actually working.
Whoa, I was doing a little work lately too, but
Yeah, well, so
only
basically-
a little.
So
Only a little.
one of my like software things, like I have it running in a VM environment or whatever, and a
It
customer.
sounds Monday to me.
Yeah, well, so a customer had a performance thing, so I was like, oh, whatever. I wanted ammo to be able to, when I talk to the developers about any changes that might need to be made, whether or not the new versions of their code performs better or worse than previous versions in some objective measures. So I just whipped up an MRTG and got it running like in my VM, and I was actually working on that, and I just finished it. And then I looked at my queue of like more important work I could be doing that I didn't want to do. And then I looked down and I saw the Windows Update thing saying, hey, you can do Windows 10 whenever you want.
I don't get that at work because the Active Directory is like, yeah, no, don't do anything.
So I look at it and I'm like, you know what? That's a nice excuse to go get some coffee. So I
It
started.
doesn't really take that long at all.
It took 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything worked fine until I started up a VM, and the VM I just did the thing on. And of course, it didn't start with all these fucked up errors.
Well, I mean, sure, VirtualBox has all these drivers you need, like the network driver
Yep.
that you had in Windows. You got to probably uninstall. I would uninstall it and completely reinstall the newest version. And if the
So
newest
I-
version changelog didn't say Windows 10 support, it's probably going to be in one or two versions from
So
now.
yeah, first thing I did was check for updates. I was on the newest stable version.
All right. Did it say in the changelog like added Windows 10 support?
No, I was already on that version. So then I Google, and basically everyone's having this problem, both with VirtualBox, with VMware. Basically all virtualization platforms had this problem. The
They
problem
probably
is,
didn't update themselves to work with Windows 10 before
well, the problem
release
is
like they should have.
so specific. If you have a bridged network adapter to a host, the list of network devices with which to bridge to or through is just empty, and you're fucked.
Oh, but host only and NAT still work?
Everything else works, but you can't be bridged.
Oh, but I don't use Bridge, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but I use bridged.
All right.
So I Google around and I find all these people like bitching about it, and Microsoft and Oracle both being like, we're working on it. Blah. And then a lot of people link to like, here's my workaround. And I scanned through like 4 or 5 of these workarounds.
None of them work. They're all bullshit.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at them. I was like, wow, you don't even know how this stuff works, dude. So then I resolved it by just going to the the VirtualBox page, and I went to the unstable releases section, and I saw that, oh yes, there is a version 5, because they're on like 4 dot whatever right now. You can just download builds of version 5. The most recent build is stable, but not production ready. So of course I just pulled it down
It's just your own machine. Who gives a shit?
and totally fixed the issue, and I'm good to go.
Mm.
So Windows 10 is great, and I'm going to slowly upgrade all the rest of my computers.
Did you uncheck all the privacy boxes?
Yeah. Though at the same time, like, I don't know,
At first, on my laptop, it wasn't the greatest, but now it's like way better than Windows 7.
it looks like it has to index a bunch of stuff before the
Yeah.
start menu thing works
and
really
I think
well.
that indexing process was slowing down because I don't have a lot of CPU in my my laptop.
Ah,
there.
yeah, because my computer at work has like 4 gigahertz, like 8
And
core
I don't have a lot of
monster.
RAM either in my laptop at home.
Yeah.
It's pretty weak. But now
Oh
it's
yeah,
just,
your laptop's like a generation
But
older
what was
than even
really
mine.
interesting is like I clean installed that motherfucker, and somehow it got all the Lenovo stuff
That I'm excited about. 'cause-
without getting any of the bad Lenovo stuff.
'Cause
Like,
I tried
like,
to
didn't
clean-
install the bullshit Lenovo Wi-Fi thing.
Because I tried to clean install on my Lenovo, which is one version newer than yours, and it actually did not work.
Really?
There were some drivers that like could not. I gave up and used the factory reset disk.
Oh, mine just totally worked.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to upgrading to Windows 10 and then doing a clean install because I'll bet it'll work. But yeah, it's not Monday, it's the lounge.
So we're not doing news because we got a show topic that might go long. So we'll just go straight to things today.
Did you say things of the day?
Things of the day.
All right, you got a thing of the day?
Yeah, so there's a YouTube channel number file. I may have used it for things of the day before.
I know I've used it in the
It's
past.
second only to the periodic videos channel in terms of getting some science and math education in your years after school.
Don't discount Crash Course. They're pretty much rocking it.
I just don't watch that one.
You should watch that
it's
one.
It's also not math or science.
There's a lot of science, Scott.
All right. Anyway.
What you knew that I was watching the history ones. There's also ones that are all about like physiology and chemistry.
I already learned about chemistry. I don't need to know about physiology.
Why don't you need to? The one they just now was on blood vessels.
I don't need to know about blood vessels.
It's real interesting. I learned some stuff.
Maybe I should.
Also, Phil Plait is doing one now with them on astronomy.
He doesn't have his own thing. Why do you need to watch him on another thing?
Well, because this thing is pretty good. And
it's like if it's like, oh, go listen to this other podcast to hear Scott talk about whatever. And it's like, yeah, you can hear me talk about that on
they got
GeekNights.
another guy. He's doing politics, but not like the politics that you always get pissed off about. But like, here's why Andrew Jackson happened. Like, here's how the Constitution works in this area. Like,
anyway, so on the Number File channel, they put up this video today about BMX biking.
Which I used to do as a kid.
Yeah, and this video is really interesting because it's basically a very Geek Nights kind of thing where he talks about this flaw in the game balance of BMX biking.
Well, we should talk about this in our panel of packs.
Right, where if you're in lane 8, it sucks ass. You're gonna, you have a hard time winning in lane 8 unless you're just way better than the other people. So he's like, how can we make this fair by only changing? He didn't want to change all the rules of BMX biking, which looking at them now, because I never knew them before, other than get on a bike and race to the end. Looking at the rules of BMX biking now, they should probably change all of them because they're garbage.
So it's like race walking.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not even nearly that bad.
Just making sure.
But just
because I'm still getting occasional hate messages about people who are mad from that race walking thing we did.
I want some hate messages.
Well, you got to post the controversial stuff on your YouTube instead of mine.
Anyway, but he comes up with a system for keep all the rules of BMX biking except choosing which lane people go in to make it as fair as possible. And it's pretty interesting how they do this with math. And it's the kind of thing that more video game and board game developers need to be thinking about all the time.
So when I was a kid,
games.
the guy at the track, because I remember asking like, hey, so isn't the outside lane worse? Mm-hmm. And the guy said, no, because you turn both left and right, so it all evens out in the end. And I didn't really think about his answer because he was an adult and I was a little kid. And
that does make sense, though, when you think about it, right? He probably believed that. He probably wasn't trying to scam you, right?
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like, he was like, oh, I have a confident answer. I'm a little kid who's like, that's an adult who told me something.
I mean, and if you don't think about it hard, it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like on an oval track and field track where obviously you're making 4 left turns, left side is way shorter, right? If you made 2 lefts and 2 rights, it's like, oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I got a thing here. I found this a while ago, and I just kind of forgot about it. This is a Slashdot article that links to a collection of articles and stuff about chess, like the current state of the game of chess.
Damn it, chess. Just die already.
Well, we haven't solved it yet.
Why won't you be replaced?
A lot of people would say it's replaced by Go.
Yeah, great. That's not... I mean, I guess if we need to have a perfect information game.
It's replaced by Battle Balls.
Battle Balls, okay.
So chess, some things are happening. This is basically a data-driven analysis of like almost 1 million chess games going back to the 15th century, looking at like what's changing in the game.
They have like the moves someone made in a chess game in the 15th century?
Important chess games were a big deal, and people recorded what happened in them.
Even in 1400 something?
Yeah, actually. I also learned a bunch of stuff like...
Is that like on a stone tablet or some shit? Like queen's rook to whatever?
So remember, back then, they already
papyrus,
know the Earth was round and already know how big the Earth was, but like they'd figured out a lot of stuff. Anyway, so this is a super fascinating set of articles, but the things I want to point out, the summary from this heading here, chess games are statistically getting steadily longer. So from 1970 to today, games increased from 37 move games to 42 move games.
That's that doesn't sound like a big increase. It's only 5 moves, but 5 out of 40 is a large percentage.
Yep, they say 75 ply
and
to
multiply
85 ply.
Multiply 5, right? Is it 5 moves per player or 5 moves total?
I don't know.
Even if it's 5 moves total, take that and multiply it by the time it takes a chess player to make their moves. right? And that's like fucking, it could be like 5 minutes, and it could be like a half hour extra there. It's a long time you're adding.
And it's due to defensive play becoming more and more common because of the changes in just like chess strategy over time. First move advantage has always existed and still exists to a significant degree.
All right, I'm white every time.
I'll be white every time.
Nope. I called it already. Too late.
Draws are getting more and more common at a very rapid pace.
Sure.
Humans probably...
I mean, if you're going to lose, you're playing defensively. It's like, well, I'll just force a draw if I'm not, rather than lose, right? If I see an opportunity to force a draw and I'm playing defensively, I will. Right?
Humans...
it's not like I have a chance to go in for the kill if I'm on defense.
Humans arguably are literally not contributing anything to modern chess strategy.
No, how could you?
So humans can't beat even like old AIs anymore under any circumstances.
Oh, good. Then I'll stop. I'll never. Once in a blue moon, I'll think, I should install like one of those really hard chesses on my phone and just keep playing it on the subway.
Nope, if it's a good
I'm
one, you won't beat it.
That's right. So that's why I'm never going to do that and never going to have that 2-second thought ever again.
And I learned something weird actually just now about promotion that I didn't know, because while we were talking about what we're going to do the show on, like just before, and Scott asked if you could promote something other than a queen, like when the pawn gets to the end. And my answer was, I actually don't know. Mm-hmm. And apparently the answer is that since like
everyone who plays chess is going to be like, you guys are so dumb, why don't you notice?
Yeah, because we stopped playing chess in elementary school.
I don't give a shit about chess.
Yeah. Like, I used to play a lot of chess, and then I found German board games. So you are allowed to promote to a queen, rook, knight, or bishop.
Not bad.
And apparently, in a recent analysis of 3 million something games, many at Grandmaster and Master levels.
Aren't promotions like pretty rare, though? I mean, most games don't even have a promotion.
Well,
right?
So apparently there was a famous game with Bobby Fischer where there were 4 queens out on the board, and the game was still undecided.
Yeah, I'm sure, but how many, what percentage of chess games is there even one promotion?
That I cannot learn just from looking at this page right here.
Okay.
But what percentage of times in like all chess play that was tracked here do you think people upgraded to a queen?
More than half.
It's 97%.
Okay, way more than half.
It appears that people only upgrade to a rook or a bishop if they're being a dick and they're winning anyway.
Right, I mean, a queen can do everything a rook or bishop can do, and it's going to be in the same position. So why would you choose those? A knight has the interesting situation where if the king happens to be in a certain spot and you promote a pawn in a certain spot to a knight, it might be able to create a checkmate where a queen would not.
Yeah.
But choosing a rook or a bishop over a queen in the same position is... just stupid. There's no reason.
So my suggestion was
you're only limiting your possibilities.
Promoting to a rook or a bishop
is trolling.
Is the same as teabagging a dead body in Counter-Strike.
That's right. But you can still lose. I mean,
so here's a quote from the article: "A majority of under promotions in practical play are, as Tim Krabbe put it, silly jokes."
Okay.
And then there's this whole section in the Wikipedia, and this is what my real thing of the day is, that's just called unusual situation.
Like what I just described, or even more unusual?
An unusual situation occurred in a 1993 game between Karpov and Kasparov. Karpov was in serious time troubles. He was running out of time with 1 minute left to make 16 moves.
Okay.
In his position, he captured the rook on d1 and the pawn on c2 and said queen, indicating that the promoted piece was a queen. However, no queen was immediately available. Like there was no piece they could use.
Because you buy a set of chess pieces, there's 2 queens in there, a black one and a white one.
It took some time for the arbiter to come up with a black queen. Kasparov said that if he had been attentive, he would have promoted to a rook, which was available. Kasparov's clock was running while the arbiter was getting the queen.
That's bullshit.
So he started Karpov's clock. Karpov immediately played a move, and some bullshit went down, and there's arguments to this day about this game.
That's bullshit. You shouldn't have to have the timer running when someone's going to get a piece.
Even chess has cool data-driven stuff and drama. That's my thing of the day. Chess drama.
All right, let's do a short meta moment. Book club book is The Eye of the World. It's a fantasy novel by Robert Jordan.
Fantasy noveling is happening.
Famous fantasy series. I feel like I should read at least one of these books because
I think that one kid
to have nerd cred.
I think the kid who stole the knife is gonna die.
Maybe, who knows? And then PAX is really soon. The PAX, the True Convention. is very late in August. You have to go to that, or else, well, you're nobody.
We're doing the far future of gaming on Sunday, Sports Are Games on Monday, and I'm doing online story-driven games on Wednesday in Portland.
All right, and nothing else matters. Find us where every place on the internet that you go, we are there. Facebooks, Twitters, G+s, Tumblrs, whatever it is, we are there. Come and find us. I mean, you've already found this podcast.
So, the lightning round. Scott put together a list, and then I supplemented it with my own list of searching conversations we've had.
Yeah, we ask many people for show ideas, which we are steadily running out of, especially Monday and Thursday, right? And there are many reasons we reject people's ideas. One common reason is that, we don't actually know anything about that topic. We'd have to research it. The show would be us reading Wikipedia. And while I admit many episodes of Geek Nights are us reading Wikipedia, let us avoid those as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not us reading Wikipedia. It's us repeating what we read on Wikipedia on our own in the past. I'm not going to read a new Wikipedia page for Geek Nights.
Sure. Another common reason we reject episode ideas is because even though it's something we know about and can talk about, we just don't have enough to say to fill 20-plus minutes of talking.
Yep.
But they're still often fine ideas. So we had the idea today to do a lightning round. We went through the forum thread and all these other sources, including our own brains, for show ideas where we only had maybe like a minute of things to say. And we made a list in Google Docs, and we're going to go down and do a whole bunch of show topics really fast each, with a timer even, to force ourselves to remain short. Now, even a minute, though, is actually surprisingly long. We can say a lot about something in a minute, especially if you talk fast. So, you have a little timer over there? Ready?
Go.
All right, credit card. So, a credit card is only awesome. Everyone should have one. It lets you buy things online. It can never fuck you unless you're a moron.
I don't think we need to
spend
describe
more money than
what
you
credit
have.
cards are. The problem is everyone they want to ask us about credit cards, it's always because they fuck up credit cards.
Don't spend more money than you have. That's all there is to it. Pay it off in full every single month, and it will benefit you with rewards and convenience.
Now maybe, but Black Dynamite, I'm poor and I had to use it for an emergency. That's fine. If you
Good, you had money available for an emergency.
If you didn't have a credit card, you couldn't have done that
Don't
emergency
use your stupid
thing.
debit card. Use the credit card. Get your Amazon points. Get whatever. Just don't be a moron and spend more than you have.
Yeah, and if you need to spend more than you have because it's like medical expenses or whatever, well, just go bankrupt and then you won't have to pay it anyway. Like, it's just literally...
I don't understand people who are like, I don't want to get a credit card. It's like,
Yeah,
get
like,
one.
do you not trust yourself? Are you really that lacking
Maybe
in
you
self-control?
are.
Maybe you are. Your kids go into like a fugue state and buy 1,000 wall scrolls.
And
Is
that's
that
all
what's
we
gonna
have to
happen?
say about that.
ISIS. Well, so we really should call it Daesh because that is the derogatory term in the Middle East for these fuckers.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of different things, and I don't care enough to bother. But yeah, sure. If what you said is true, then yeah, call them Daesh. Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I follow this issue a lot, but it's not really like Scott and I are not experts on geopolitical
You don't say.
Like, I know a lot about weird stuff. Like, I know a lot about nuclear weapons, and I know a reasonable amount about Daesh and what's going on over there. But you should probably just read a war blog or something of informed people. Right. Yeah. My opinion is not relevant to you.
I'm not that informed, but I know enough to know that these are bad people and there is nothing good about them. So what is there to say other than that, yes, there are bad people on Earth. Fuck them.
They are bad enough, actually, that it looks like Al-Qaeda is losing members to them. And even like extremist, like Islamist terror groups are also kind of fighting against them because they're fucking up everybody's jam. All right.
Planned Parenthood is the opposite of Daesh. It's only a good thing. Anyone who's against it is evil, ignorant, misinformed. I don't even know.
Well, the thing is that this was not this was a big issue during like Roe versus Wade era, and then kind of disappeared. This is a political issue again now, really specifically because of the ruling on gay marriage.
And it's even worse than people who are against. Like, people who are against, like, free or inexpensive healthcare are like, everyone should die. This is specifically like, women should be fucked over specifically, more so than others.
Well, the problem is it's America. The Republican Party is actually against
everything Planned Parenthood does,
contraception.
the doctor should do, no problem.
Yeah.
Why does it even have to be a separate thing? Because of misogyny and evil.
Well, like people I know who go to Planned Parenthood in New York, like there's metal detectors because they're like terrorist threats against these people from the right wing.
What the fuck?
But it's an issue now because the Republicans need a wedge issue like gay marriage now that they lost gay marriage, so they're doubling down on abortion. That is why this came up.
If they lose that.
I'm out of time.
All right, shaving my heads.
Yeah, you shaved your head.
I shaved my head a long time ago. The strategy is pretty simple. You know when you go to the barber and he's got that clipper, it goes bzzz,
Yep.
Just buy one of those.
Oh, you didn't just like tear it all out?
Yeah, no. Buy one of those. They're only like, they're a lot of money, relatively speaking, but considering how much money it costs to go to the barber, I've saved money by now, like so many monies that I've saved by buying the pro top level
thing.
thing.
Is getting the initial shave wouldn't be my concern. My concern would be continuing to shave my head without bleeding to death.
Yeah, don't use, some people use like the razor on their head with like little wheels on it. I don't do that.
That's what Adam uses, and
Yeah.
it looks pretty good, actually.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. Thing is, I don't think I'll ever have to shave my head.
Maybe.
If I get old enough to where I actually start losing my hair for real instead of just like my one thinning spot, I might just Steven Universe's dad it and go skull it.
Okay, do whatever you want.
Or if I have money, maybe by then I'll be able to get a Trump.
Sure.
I would do medical procedure to get my hair back. I think that's something I would do. Oh, I'm out of time. Water bottles, Camelback or Nalgene.
Yeah, I actually have, I guess it is Camelback brand.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
The Camelback Podium, right? So
That's the one. I have 2 of those for biking.
it's insulated. It has a twisty, so it keeps the water inside of it, even if it bounces around and whatever.
It works like a squirt gun if you wanted to.
Sure. Don't get some crappy ones, right? It's worth it to buy the better ones that have these better features because it's more comfortable to drink.
Well, you know what?
out of.
Actually,
it's more
there's
sanitary. The water's colder.
There are 2 situations. Situation 1, I'm traveling, like on planes. I will buy a shitty bottle of water at the airport and use that because I'm probably going to lose it at some point.
That's true.
So I only use my water bottle when I'm like sporting. But seriously, buy a really, really good water bottle. It's totally worth it. Otherwise, it tastes like
And if
plastic.
you're not drinking water, what the hell?
And if you're biking, water bottles are for like your baby commute. Get a Camelback. It is like night and day.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, actually, I should bring my Camelback to the woods thing that we're
You
doing.
weren't going to do that?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it until just now.
The diamond industry is evil. Everyone knows this. If you don't know this, where have you been living? Under a shiny rock?
But it amazes me that there are people who don't know this yet.
If you don't know, the people who mine diamonds, they're mining them in an evil fashion, usually, right? With like slaves and child labor.
Now, granted,
And
pretty
then
much all rare earth metals
diamonds
have
are
similar
common
problem.
as fuck. They're just like fistful. They're diamonds all the fuck over the place. There's so many of them. They just pile them up in a vault and release them from the vault very slowly to make artificial scarcity to jack the price up. You should not pay $1 zillion for a diamond. Some other things are actually rare, but still, why would you pay for any shiny rock, no matter how rare? What is wrong with you? Oh my God, you can get nice looking things, even nicer looking than shiny rocks,
Well, you know what
for
I'll
a
say?
lot less money. Go on Etsy.
Even if you know someone who cares because other people care, costume jewelry is indistinguishable from real jewelry to the vast majority of humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just get some cubic zirconia or whatever. This is a lot. So you both have your finger on the pulse of so much. What about a show on the best skills and practices for being an informed nerd?
Read internet nonstop. When I'm at work, I'm on the internet. I don't work anywhere that doesn't allow unfiltered internet, so I can read whatever I want while I'm at work, and I don't have to spend too much time working. And I have a smartphone, and I have computers at home. I reload Reddit and RSS feeds and everything constantly.
Well, more importantly,
reload.
read a small number of high-quality aggregators.
Yeah, I just read things constantly. If there's something happens, I find out within like a minute.
In my order of like how I find out about things, it's number 1 is Twitter, because like Twitter,
Yep.
like shit goes down, you'll know immediately. Number 2 is Fark. Fark is actually your best source of like for serious 9/11 style crazy news. Like Fark will have it before anybody
Serious
else.
crazy news.
Yeah.
Go to Fark.
Yeah. And then I read like Slashdot,
Yeah.
a few
Subscribe,
subreddits,
unsubscribe from all the default subreddits, and only subscribe to the ones that are relevant to you.
and don't use Google Reader because.
It's dead.
All right.
So someone wants to talk about obesity. So
Health at every size. I've seen those motherfuckers.
right. So basically, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit out there. If someone's fat, you shouldn't be like, hey, you're fat, and be shaming them for it. It's like maybe they're genetically fat. That's totally fine.
Even though increasingly, I'm still not saying you should shame anybody, but pretty much every study that's come out in like many, many years says that just reducing your food intake correlates directly.
Right. But I'm not going to shame anyone because of the shape their body happens to be in or comment on it or say anything. That's, that's their life. It's their deal. Whatever. Right? It's like, I think people are dumb when they smoke, but I don't go around telling people who smoke, hey, stop smoking, asshole.
Yep, but
even
I
though
won't
I kind of
pretend,
feel like it sometimes.
I won't pretend, honestly, that being around really obese people makes me feel really uncomfortable because I can't imagine being that way. And
yeah, it is unhealthy, and if it's you should take it seriously as a condition and deal with it. Just
But
like if you're smoking, you should quit.
eat less, exercise more. That covers the vast majority of.
Your hopes, dreams, wishes for a Settlers of Catan movie or TV show.
I hope it doesn't happen.
I don't have any. I mean, there was a Battleship movie. I didn't see that. I don't want this.
I have one. I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's my hope. I hope, dream, and wish this doesn't happen.
A Settlers movie would be...
Because then money could be spent on something better.
Wait, well, what if they do one of the spin-offs? Like, what if they did Settlers of Canaan? It would be like the birth of Israel.
What if they did Cities and Knights?
Yeah. Why? Where did this suggestion come from?
I don't know. We can just end this one early and go to the next one. Has there ever been a show on Go, the game Go?
Wait, I didn't restart the timer. We still got. We're sticking to this timer. We're staying on this
No,
topic.
the timer is just like the maximum we can spend on a topic. It doesn't mean
I'm
we have to
resetting
talk
the
about
timer.
one for a whole
I'm
minute.
staying on Settlers. In general, I don't like there to be movies about games because they're always bad. Though, actually, and now that I'm older...
If I thought hard enough, I could probably find one exception. The Wizard.
I'm kind of excited for the Forgotten Realms movies because I think they'll be better than every other. Yeah, I feel like those go. Here we go. Okay. Has there ever been a show on Go, as in Ikaru no Go?
Right, as in the game Go.
Yeah, there have been several, but we didn't make them.
I think we've talked about it quite enough on this show. I mean, what else do we really need to say that we haven't said already?
I mean, we could
It's just chess, only even more boring and more hard and more serious.
Well, I learned Go from the Go Club at RIT, which was like the second best club on campus. Like those guys were great. Like I really liked the Go Club. Like you're really well organized.
Yeah, they were cool people.
And I did a lot of teaching games on like the tiny grids.
And I just got hosed every time.
It was moderately fun, but I just lost my stomach for purely abstract games. Like around.
It's not even the fact that it's abstract. It's just
no, that's it. I do not enjoy purely abstract, like perfect.
I mean, like
information games
Oshi's
anymore.
abstract,
but Oshi's short, and I'm kind of an expert at it at this point. Like, I'm not going to devote myself to a really abstract game. I would rather play T&E or
anything that
like
takes too much time to get to a reasonable level of proficiency is not good. Okay, basically, it's a question about the Boston Olympics.
Well, we know the answer now. It's not happening.
Well, good.
Yeah, I did not want it to happen there.
No, I mean, the thing is, I like the Olympic spirit. I like a lot of most of the sports that are in the Olympics, not all of them, but most of them, right? I like to see who wins the Olympics, especially like Olympic hockey, even though, and stuff like that.
Yep.
But obviously, the Olympic Committee is second only to FIFA in terms of corruption. It seems to be getting less corrupt, but it's still way fucking corrupt.
Well, like it's going to be in the Olympics coming up in Brazil.
Like the actual execution of the Olympics and management of it and et cetera is evil and awful, and you don't want it anywhere near you. But I do want to watch the athletes compete, and I'm all for the athletes.
Why don't we make an international?
I'm not for the sponsors. I'm not for the committee.
Why doesn't the UN make an international Olympic city somewhere, and that's the Olympics forever?
Sure, go for it.
That's the right way.
Luxembourg.
Seriously, though, the city of Boston, they revoked their bid because the Olympics were so unpopular there that they decided not to go after it.
Yep.
Cabs, specifically the Uber, Lyft, whatever thing. Actually, I think we could do a whole show on this.
We might be able to.
Self-driving cars are going to fuck up everything more than you can possibly imagine.
But basically, specifically the whole Uber Lyft.
Uber's evil.
Uber is basically evil. It's a company that basically said, let's ignore all the existing laws instead of a business. And it's sort of what Crunchyroll did. Like, let's ignore copyright instead of a business, and then became legit after. Only Uber has no interest in becoming legit. And you might think...
Actually, I think they do. I think Uber's actual plan is to be a robot car cab service and not have any employees.
Maybe they could do that eventually.
I think that's their long-term plan.
If you look at the tax, there's a lot of regulations that go into cabs. It's why they're the way they are. It's not just a scam and an evil monopoly or whatever.
I'd say half those regulations are corrupt, but guys, use a cab in a city other than New York? Good God.
Right. You need those regulations there. Otherwise, it's like handicapped people aren't getting picked up, black people aren't getting picked up, right? It's like, and Uber doesn't give a shit about any of those rules.
Also, Uber doesn't take care of its
Uber
employees.
changes their prices.
Oh, I guess we got to do a whole show on that one.
Maybe. All right. Favorite ghost stories, urban legends, and or mythological creatures. I don't really have favorite ghost stories.
I'm a big fan of telling ghost stories. Now, I do not believe in ghosts. I am not scared by ghost stories. However, I tell a mean ghost story, and I enjoy.
Like what? There was a spooky ghost.
No, I remember I tell long
ghost
form.
stories don't do it for me anymore.
I tell long form ghost stories.
Anyway.
I've been really into this guy. Oh, it's not Robert Stack, but he mimics the style of Robert Stack. I'll find a video and link to it.
Yeah.
But this guy does videos that are like, let me tell you about this scary fucked up thing that happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I like creepy stories.
Urban legends, I don't care. They're all stupid.
Like the Rabbit Man of What's It or like Hook Hands.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nerdery that I just have no interest in. And mythological creatures,
I like dragons.
Well, yeah, I mean, mythological creatures like fantasy novel are cool, but the kinds you're probably asking about.
Cryptozoology? Fuck
Yeah,
that.
I don't give a shit. None of those animals are real, and I don't care.
Bigfoot is not in any
It's
way
the same as people who
interesting.
believe in aliens. Go fuck yourselves.
Gardening. I actually really want to garden, but I live in New York and I don't own the roof. Like that's
I could put plants in a pot on the roof. I'm just afraid neighbors would eat them. Gardening's real simple. Get a plant, put it in the dirt. Don't forget to water it, and it should do well. Just make sure you put it in the right kind of dirt.
well, it's more complex
if it
if you
doesn't-
grow multiple things, like grubs and things start
Make
eating
sure
your
you got the right
stuff.
kind of dirt. Watch out for bugs.
Rabbits
give it some
come and start
food.
eating like the flower tips
Make
off
sure
of
you
stuff.
don't put things in a place rabbit can get them. Put a
Our
fence
friends Pete and
around
Nuri
it.
have a crazy garden.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
multiple gardens.
It's way fun, and if you get vegetables, they're way more delicious than you get at the grocery store.
Frankly, though, we just don't have time for gardening. Like we do
I
so
have
much other
time
stuff.
for it if I just had a place to.
You don't have time for real gardening. It takes a lot of work. There's a lot of
Just I
stuff.
had tomatoes in Beacon, and now I have even
yeah,
more.
if you're just gonna grow like tomatoes and zucchinis and stuff.
Yeah,
You don't want anything big and real and
I
awesome.
just want tomatoes, pretty much.
Yeah, I can grow like some leeks or some
Added
onions or
no.
get some
Added credit
garlics.
cards get on the list twice.
how credit cards are on the list twice. I guess they are.
We'll skip that over. Go to the next one.
Yogurt. So
Yogurt is delicious.
I don't actually like plain yogurt. I've never really liked yogurt. I like lassies.
Well, I mean, I usually don't. Plain yogurt is like edible, but usually I always get. When I was young, I got yogurt with fruit on the bottom, and nowadays I get Greek yogurt with fruit on the side. You all got to mix the fruit in. It's got to be as real fruit as possible. To really mix with the yogurt well.
Yeah,
to
but
get
like
more deliciousness.
I just never really like yogurt that much, except in things. But frozen yogurt, fuck that nonsense. That's bullshit. Just get some
What?
custard.
I mean, custard tastes great.
Frozen yogurt.
Frozen yogurt still tastes good. It's
No,
just
it does. You
not
think
as
that.
good as
So
ice cream.
You think that.
or-
Have some frozen custard again, and then put even one amount of frozen yogurt on your tongue, and your body will reject.
It still tastes good. It just doesn't taste as good as any of the other frozen delicious alternatives.
But no, Scott. So I don't like yogurt, but actually, I really like Icelandic skyr.
The Siggy's yogurt?
Yeah.
That's the one yogurt I tried to eat, and it was too thick, heavy, and not good.
Yeah, it's like the badass power yogurt.
No, it's disgusting yogurt.
Political polls. So there's been a thing recently where, and actually, Nate Silver did a cool article on it. Polling is
Anything he has to say about it is almost certainly correct.
yeah, but basically, like in recent elections, people were like, "Oh, the polls are going to skew." Like, aren't polls going to be more inaccurate because they can't reach young people who have cell phones that they're not allowed to call and don't have landlines and don't respond to
But
polls?
young people don't vote, so that cancels out.
Except young people are starting to vote more and more.
Yay, but
But the answer is now you can't even poll adults. Like, no one responds to political polls anymore except crazy nut jobs. So there's this inlier-outlier situation where polling increasingly discards outliers, but the outliers are actually the accurate ones. The poll that's correct is the one that is the outlier that everyone ignores. So polling is becoming increasingly unreliable, and that's going to really mess up the way American politics works because we can't imagine a politic that doesn't involve political polls.
right, well, maybe the Congress people have to start looking at their actual
Nope.
mail. All right. Fixed protocol. That's you.
That's
Mr.
me.
You want to do a show on this, but it's some obscure thing no one cares about.
So if you want to make some money, guys, like for real, learn the fixed protocol.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of obscure technological specific things you could learn to make money. You could learn COBOL and make money.
no, actually, that's not nearly as viable as it used to be.
And you'd be surprised.
If you can administer a Linux system, if you know how to use sed and awk and bash and like some Perl or Python scripting, and you learn like baby's first fixed protocol, companies like mine will hire you straight out of college and pay you like $80K. Like, seriously. It's just tag equals value. It's
Why
really
don't you
simple.
hire someone with a CS degree who hasn't learned fixed protocol but can do all the other things and teach them the fixed protocol in like a week?
That's actually my strategy lately. But honestly, learning the fixed protocol is sort of like a nice test case for learning like the design of protocols in general, because you'll see some things it does and you'll learn a lot about other protocols. Like, oh, I guess we could have done a whole show.
You
Donuts.
could have. I didn't have anything to say. Donuts are the deliciousness.
So I noticed if
I
you
love
Google,
apple fritter, which is sort of a donut, sort of not. I gotta admit.
So
I like donuts that have a cream filling. I
I
like
won't eat
donuts
Dunkin'
with a,
Donuts. Like,
I like donuts with a glaze.
like Dunkin' Donuts are not donuts.
I'll
Fuck
eat a
that
Dunkin'
bullshit.
Donut in an emergency.
If I was starving,
Landing in an airport in a rural place. That's
I'll
the
wait.
only, and I need a donut.
I'll wait.
It's basically a way to infuse yourself with sugar early in the morning. That's all. But I,
It's got to be a real donut. It's either got to be like a proper like cake donut, like fried in oil, or
that's
it's
the
got
most delicious.
or it's got to be a
Cider
yeast donut.
donuts at the farm.
Yeah, But
Gotta roll it in
or
cinnamon
it could be a
sugar.
well-made yeast donut, not a Krispy Kreme. Like I'll never eat one of those things again.
Krispy Kreme. I
Those are
remember
no
those
good.
days.
Yeah, those days.
But I mean,
those-
there's some donuts you use to infuse sugar, and some you use as a delicious baked good, regardless of sugar infusion.
except those weren't
Sugar
delicious. They were
infusion,
just,
so
just
sugar infusion.
lard.
Lard
I
is
feel
good.
like we could do a whole show on donuts.
No, I think we're done. That's
I
all
got a lot more to say.
I got nothing else to say. Kids' bathroom toys. I had a
had-
lot of awesome bathroom
I
toys.
had this thing that would hang over the side of the tub, and it was like this 3-story house thing
What
with
the
like a
fuck?
dock on the bottom. So it would like hang over the edge of the tub. It'd be like house. You put like little people walking around in them, and there's a little boat that would float that you could like dock to the little dock. It was like a little house with a dock under it, and that was like the best bathroom toy ever.
I had a book called I think it was about Wet Willie.
I also had those
It
books.
was a little in the waterproof book. There was a penguin, and you could move him from page to page to do the different scenes in the bathtub, whatever. And I
Yeah.
had a little plastic toy that was a boat that would swim around. And
Oh,
I
I
had-
also had the Lego boat.
yeah, I had that too. I had a foam.
Well, which one did you have? Because I had the police boat.
It was white. I think it was the same piece as the police boat, but it was more like a
Oh, see, I
normal
also
person
had the
boat.
big red freighter that you could buy the optional motor
Yeah,
for,
it
but
didn't-
my parents
well,
never
this
bought me
could
the
have had
motor.
this had the spot for the motor also, but I didn't have the motor.
Yeah, I always wanted that
I also
motor.
had these foam trains that just sort of stuck to the wall in the tub, and you could rearrange them into different orders.
Uh,
All right.
Chinese American food?
I mean, we're in New York City. We don't eat that as much anymore, even though there's a ton of it here. It's actually hard to find good American version of Chinese food because most of the places are just like tasteless, sesame chicken or
Yeah.
General Tso.
Unless, I mean, honestly,
But
like,
I eat it once in a while still.
so it's interesting because I always forget, and I
But
explain
usually
this
I
to
eat real
people.
Chinese food.
In America, if you don't live in like New York or like a very small
can't get
handful
real
of big
Chinese
cities,
food.
no. If you want anything delivered to your house, pizza is literally the only option.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in like a hip suburb, maybe you can also get Chinese American food delivered.
Mm-hmm.
So because those are the only two things we could get delivered in Beacon and Rochester,
But the place in Beacon that was near us
was really good.
That was really good, actually. It's better than any of the places that are within walking distance of me now.
But now that I can get like Turkish food delivered, I really don't order Chinese food anymore.
I'll get Chinese food if I'm in the mood for it real hard.
But then I'll get the like Jujube vegan Thai fusion instead.
yeah, usually jujube tree's real good.
Yeah.
Mugging, pickpocketing, and other street crimes.
If you get pickpocketed, you're a moron. Like it's really easy to not
keep
get
your
pickpocketed.
wallet in your front pocket. Jesus Christ! And
or
if
keep
you
it
have
in your
a
back
bag,
pocket and wear tight jeans.
or
Or have a button.
have a bag that like closes and close it, so someone have to like open it and go through a whole bunch of hassle to get in there.
Have you ever been mugged?
No,
My mom got mugged like 5 or 6 times. We lived in Detroit. My
but that
dad-
makes sense.
Yeah.
If you get mugged, if I got mugged, I assume I would probably just be like, "All right, bro, have my money and credit cards, moron. Do
thing
whatever
is,
the fuck you want.
It's real easy.
I'll just
to not-
cancel that shit."
It is real easy to not get mugged. Just like have a little bit of situational awareness. Like if you're
I'm in a dark alley all alone as a shady character. Don't go down that alley.
Yep. Or I'm walking down the street and there's a corner on a building. Maybe walk a little bit away from the corner and go around it instead of walking right by the corner.
And I
Like-
mean, we're in New York City. Even at like 2 a.m., sometimes I'll go home. There's people everywhere. I bike around like neighborhoods that people think are bad neighborhoods. No problem. Probably because I'm a white guy.
The singularity.
yeah.
It's gonna happen, but not the capital S one that Kurzweil and all them talk about.
Yeah, that guy, I mean, Kurzweil, I guess he got famous somehow, but he's mostly a nut job. He believes that, like, eating vitamins will make him live forever and other nonsense. So you got to take anything he says with a whole bag of salt.
But the concept of this kind of thing, like, kind of is happening.
Yeah, I like the Evangelion version better.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet, though. We haven't just generated mom robots.
It's a cool nerdy thing to talk about, and even though I hope a lot of Ghost in the Shell type things are within our lifetime, I think this one is well beyond our lifetime. Read The Last Question by Asimov.
Yeah, but a lot of the aspects of this are happening. Like, the zeitgeist of people on the internet is actually, like, becoming its own force independent of the people.
Yes, but it's not the singularity.
No, but it's the singularity in terms of what that word should actually mean as opposed to Kurzweilian nonsense.
Right.
So, I feel like I do a whole show on this, too.
No, I got nothing else to say.
I had a lot to say still.
Soldering.
Soldering.
When I learned how to solder in summer camp from an Australian dude. So that's why I say soldering, right?
That sounds Russian.
That sounds Irish, Russian, I don't know. But
Irish Russian.
he always said solder, so I say soldering, even though I know soldering is the correct US pronunciation. You take a hot iron metal stick and you touch some metal bits and you melt them to make something stick to something else.
And at least once
It's
you accidentally jam that shit under your fingernail.
Baby's first welding. It's fun. It's way easier than you think it is. You should
Yep.
totally do it with some Arduino shit.
It does require some skill, though. And honestly, when I was a kid, I really wish I had, given up on having separate flux and just used the solder with the flux in it.
Yes, use the solder with the flux in it. Get the high-quality iron that has the adjustable temperature.
Wait for the iron to heat all the way up, and don't
and-
hold it on the circuit board too long, guys.
And the little sponge you need to clean it off is essential.
But I haven't soldered anything in like 20 years. And
I
probably
have
never will
recently
again.
because I bought some kits to put stuff together. Go
yeah.
if that's a hobby you want to do, it's totally cheap and easy to get into.
Kitchen technology, fridges, microwaves, and other kitchen appliances.
All right, the rule is, because if you just get hooked on cooking, right, you're going to buy a bunch of kitchen shit you don't need, right? So the rule is you can do everything in the kitchen with a knife because that's what pros do, right?
Well, and a stove.
Right, and a stove.
I think it says fridges, microwave. The examples are all big appliances, not little shit.
But I'm saying, like, if you find yourself, say, doing, chopping a whole bunch, like, and you keep doing it day after day, then get the food processor.
But
right?
in terms of
If
appliances,
you find yourself smashing a ton of fucking garlic because you're like garlic in every meal, then buy the garlic press. Don't be
or just buy pre-smashed garlic at that point.
or that. No.
Microwaves, not that essential. Like, I don't really use our microwave. Emily does, but I don't, because if you're gonna reheat shit, never use a microwave. It's almost always the worst option.
No, I only use the microwave. I don't even use it for popcorn. I use the air popper. I use
fridges side by side is bullshit. Never use a fridge side by side.
Side by side, I don't really care.
I do. I care a lot. And then turn off shit.
Oh well. Anger management. So anger is like a legit feeling that you can have, and there are some things that are worth getting angry over, like if someone's totally addicted to you or whatever. But I feel like feeling angry doesn't really accomplish anything. It just makes you feel worse. It makes the person who made you feel angry feel high and mighty, and it really doesn't help you achieve any goal whatsoever unless your goal is to get into a total rage and kick the shit out of somebody. So you should try to avoid feeling angry regardless of anything that happens in the world. And if you keep feeling angry a lot, you should try to do some anger management.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is it's never worth it.
I used to feel angry a lot in my youth, and now I pretty much never feel legit angry anymore.
I just feel sad instead.
Yeah.
But I see this every day. The real problem is people who can't control their anger and lash out. So, like, road rage people, like, they should never drive again.
Pretty much. Or until
guys
they
who
fix
try
their-
to punch someone like on a bike, like, yeah, your bike should be taken away and you should probably be in jail.
Yeah, you should
So-
just get your shit together, right? It's not cool.
The 2016 Republican primary.
This is you, Mr. Watching Debates when I walked in the room.
Yeah, so it's very interesting that the Republican Party is imploding so deeply right now. And actually, I'm missing the debate because it just started, and because you can't watch the debate legally online unless you have cable. That is really telling as to how old person the Republican Party is. But I treat the primaries and the political season like every year. I follow politics the way most people follow sports. Like, I have my favorite teams. Like, I follow Ted Cruz and what he's doing like I'd follow the Seahawks.
Who gives any shits?
I do. It's fun.
No one cares.
It's like Eagle in real life. So
it's not Eagle in real life. It is way more garbage than Eagle.
But what's amazing
All right, that's like
to me,
saying that boxing is like Dragon Ball. It's like, no, Dragon Ball is 10 million times more awesome.
The Republican
That's like saying war
primary-
is like Gundam. It's like, no, Gundam is way more awesome.
you took like all my time just bitching about politics.
Eagle is way more. Yeah, politics sucks.
Politics are really interesting, and I'm gonna watch the.
Guaranteed income. Yes, you should everyone should have a set amount of money to make society more fair. I mean, imagine if you started a game of Monopoly and some people started with $1 million and some people started with $0. That's bullshit. The same thing should be true in life. If you want things to be fair and just, people should start with the same amount of money. Obviously, it's okay for some people to be rich, and some people who are stupid maybe deserve to be poor, or if they make bad decisions, but no one should be poor due to bad luck. We should give everyone some amount of money to start.
Well,
that is the
especially
same.
now, the problem that
Unless you already have money, then you don't need it.
there is not enough work to do that doesn't require skills that are
And
difficult
that's only
to get.
that problem is only going to get worse. There are more people than there is work to do.
Well, once again, robot
we
cars.
need another way to distribute the goods and food and things in our society other than the system we have now, which is everyone needs a job to earn money.
Robot cars will eliminate the single largest employing industry in the United States. Like, that ends the idea of employment as far as, well, this is
right.
the end.
Socks, get good ones. They're real
Specifically-
important to be comfortable, and once they sort of wear out and don't feel amazing on your feet anymore, throw them out and buy a whole bunch of new ones
Yeah,
all
so
at once.
what if I had to go back to my younger
They're
self?
cheap. Socks are cheap, yo.
And the things I would tell me,
Good ones
younger
are cheap
me,
even.
are 1, just throw away all those old socks. Don't worry about it. 2, instead of having 100 pairs of shitty socks, so you don't have to do laundry as often in college, buy like 5 pair of smart wool and just wash them like regularly. Wash them in the sink if you have to. Smart wool socks are the only socks worth wearing ever at this point. Like,
Well, I mean, if it's if it's like hiking time, right? If it's summer,
no,
and
like summer, get thin smart wool.
oh, they have tiny little smart wool.
Yeah, I'll
socks?
show you them. They're amazing. The key is
the
never
thing
wear
is,
cotton
those are not
socks.
cheap.
Yeah, they're like $20 a pair, but you know what?
Yeah, you
They'll
can get
last
a bag
forever.
of socks for $20.
Bag of shitty, sweaty
No,
socks.
you can get some good socks for $20. They just
No,
don't
you
last
can't.
as long.
Yeah, you can get.
and they're not good in all situations.
They're not
only
good in any
like,
situations.
They're good in sneaker outside situations.
All right. That was all the topics.
Good, we're done. Now you don't have to send us any more crappy show ideas that
I feel
only
like
take
a few of
minute.
those could have been a real show.
Maybe the Uber one.
This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not 1, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.